Here's an excerpt, or a couple of excerpts, of my newest video that I put up on Patreon. There is nothing wrong with being normal. Let me repeat that. There is nothing wrong with being normal. It is perfectly fine to be of an appropriate weight. It is perfectly fine to be mainstream in your tastes in whatever. It is perfectly fine to not succumb to deviancies or decadences of various sorts because they disgust you or repel you. But the fact of the matter is that so many deviances and decadences of our society, well, those practitioners of that, they have confused the wider society's tolerance of that behavior into tacit encouragement of that behavior. And those who are deviant, those who are decadent, those who are acting in ways that are wrong for the individual and wrong for the society, well, they're being allowed to run around and proselytize to everyone that this is a good thing. It's not. It's not. And we should have the moral self-confidence to say so. And those who claim that we are intolerant, we should say, no, we are tolerant. We are tolerant of individuals who act in this way. But we are not willing to accept encouragement, especially of the young. I mean, that's the thing that really chaps my ass. You know, like say, I remember when I was 15, 16, 17, 20, I didn't know shit from Shinola. And I succumbed to a whole host of fashions that, thank goodness, when I was young, those fashions were trivial. You know, like that's the thing that seems to be going on, is that, see, the adults in the room, the adults in our society today, they have rescinded their responsibility of guiding the young, of guiding them and telling them, you know, this is good and this is bad, and this might sound fun for now, but in the future it'll cause problems. We who are the adults seem to have rescinded this responsibility. And it is a sacred duty of the older members of society to tell the younger people how things are. But the fear of being labeled intolerant has paralyzed us. I studied Russian history in college. I studied Imperial Russian history and, of course, Soviet history. I wrote a thesis on the provisional governments of Russia. But the thing that struck me about Soviet history was how people were afraid of speaking their minds. And, you know, when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s, right, the notion that you couldn't speak your mind was what separated us from them. See? They, the Soviets, the communists, didn't allow you to speak your mind. Whereas we, in the United States and the Western democracies of Western Europe, we allowed you to say whatever you wanted to, and it was perfectly fine. If you said something wrong in the Soviet Union or the Warsaw Pact countries, right, you'd get a visit from the KGB. But here in the West, you can say whatever you want. You are free. But the Soviet Union is no more, and weirdly, we've gone totalitarian, authoritarian insofar as our speech is concerned. Because now, of course, there's no government agency that will police your language. No. Now it's corporations that do it. Corporations police your language. I don't quite know when it happened that we all decided that it was okay for corporations to say what you could and could not say. But that's what's going on today. You cannot speak your mind unless Google or Facebook or Twitter or whichever one of these tech monopolies allows you to say it. And so because of that, that's why I've been doing these videos, my more controversial videos, on Patreon. You know, because Patreon is a monopoly just like all the others, right? But, you know, it's not so widespread, and so therefore I'm a little bit more protected. I despise the fact that we are living in such a period of time. I despise the fact that these corporations can tell you what you can and cannot say. But that's what's going on, and that's why I put this video up on Patreon. And so to the people who say, oh, why you're doing that, you should just put it out there on YouTube on your main channel. Do you know how long it took me to build this channel? And do you realize, of course, that I want to continue with the audience that I've been lucky enough to build? I want to continue with you guys and put up more videos. But if I get deplatformed for saying the wrong thing, how smart is that? Where's the benefit to that? Huh? So, to answer the question that is the title of this video, why am I on Patreon? Well, because right now it's the only place where I can speak my mind. And frankly, that's a fucking tragedy now, isn't it?